Alright YouTubers, how you diddling? This is the Disposalist, and in this video I'm going to introduce you to the Putilov Garford Armoured Assault Truck. I call it the Armoured Assault Truck, but there's a little bit of confusion there, as with the Artillery Truck. This one in the customised screen is called the Assault Truck, but then when you look inside at that Assault Truck, it calls it the Armoured Assault Truck, the Armoured Anti-Tank Truck, and the Armoured Reconnaissance Truck. Much like inside the Artillery Truck customised list, there's an Armoured Artillery Truck, the Armoured Anti-Aircraft Truck, and the Armoured Mortar Truck. So I'm going to call it the Armoured Assault Truck from now on. I'm going to talk about this truck's general characteristics, and then I'm going to go over each of the variants, pointing out their differences and how they behave. So, the Putilov Garford is a bit of an odd bird. You can see by the seating position diagram there that there are 4 positions, but 2 of them are taken up by the driver, position 1. The reason for this is the driver can shuffle between firing the gun and driving, but even when firing the gun he can drive. And if that sounds odd, it's because it is. Now, when firing the gun and attempting to drive at the same time, there's an obvious difficulty in that you are not facing the correct way. Even in third-person view, you can't quite face forward, and driving is a little difficult. So although it may add a bit of flexibility, it's also quite awkward, and I've seen that some even prefer to drive backwards when using the big gun. Another difference between the Putilov Garford and tanks we've seen previously in Battlefield is each gun position having a special ability that's beyond the secondary fire mode, and I'll show you those when I show you each variant. I almost forgot, another difference with the Putilov Garford and other tanks is they have some really quite impressive headlights, and those headlights turn off when the driver moves from the driving position to the gunning position. Okay, so let's look at each of the variants, and first up is the Armoured Assault Truck variant. I told you it was a little confusing. So this variant has the 76mm high explosive round from the big gun at the back. That's similar to the light tank's howitzer variant, which is doing a lot of damage but not great with range. High explosives, of course, doing lots of damage to buildings and vehicles alike. And it has heavy machine guns as secondary fire, and heavy machine guns there for the side gunners. So now let's see that assault truck variant in action. There's the very bright headlights, moving the gunner to the gunning position. That's actually the secondary fire mode, the heavy machine gun there in action. Moving to the primary fire mode, you can see it takes out small trees and large with equal ease, that 76mm high explosive round. We're going to try number 3, the extra fire mode. This is new to the Putilov Garford, and that's creating smoke there, and that refreshes quite quickly. It's throwing some more smoke. And you can see the more standard special ability that you've seen in other tanks there. It drops medical supplies and ammunition supplies behind it. Now this is the left hand heavy machine gun gunner position, and you can see that also pressing 3 has a special ability. This is unique again to the Putilov Garford. That was throwing grenades there, fragmentation grenades from that side gun. That's going to be very useful. Next up we have the Anti-Tank Variant, and you can see its lights aren't quite as impressive, but more importantly that 76mm gun fires armoured piercing shells in this variant. And that is going to do more damage against vehicles, of course, and perhaps less against buildings than the Assault Truck variant. It also has heavy machine guns on each side and a heavy machine gun secondary fire to that big gun. Alright, let's see the Anti-Tank Variant in action, and again I think we're starting with the heavy machine gun secondary fire from the main gun. Pretty standard stuff there. We're moving on to the armoured piercing shells. Let's see how they do with those trees. Oh yeah, they take those out quite nicely. Perhaps we'll get some footage later of actual tanks being taken out. The gadget there, that new special thing for the Putilov Garford, is an anti-tank grenade. That is going to be so useful when fighting other vehicles at close range, and it recycles pretty quickly as well, that anti-tank grenade. And you can see the gadget there for the side gunner. They usually have heavy machine guns, but the gadget there is an incendiary grenade. That's going to be extremely useful for holding back those assault players attempting to throw TNT on you. I'm just going to let this run a little bit so you can see this truck in action driving around, because the one thing you might not have noticed is those rear tyres there have tyre chains on them, and I don't know if I was imagining it or not, but it does seem that this particular variant, and the other variant also has tyre chains, only one of them doesn't, seems to, I don't know, get you out of trouble a little bit better in these difficult and snowy regions. The Putilov in general gets around pretty well compared to other tanks and trucks. And I almost forgot to mention it's difficult to demo, but its number 4 position special ability is emergency repair. So our last contestant this evening for Miss Russian Tank 1917 is the Reconnaissance Variant. And this lady's big gun fires time-fused shrapnel shells, ideal for flushing out dug-in infantry, it says. And like the others, it has heavy machine gun secondary fire and heavy machine gun gunners on the sides. So let's see this girl in action. There are those impressive headlights. This time we're going straight for the main gun, and we'll see that shrapnel in action. So you can see either when it impacts or when it reaches a certain time, that shrapnel explodes, and it doesn't take those trees down, and it won't be taking any vehicles down, probably not any buildings either, but any infantry caught in that blast are going to be shredded. And there's the heavy machine gun in action, and we're followed up with the gadget fire, which is a flare. And then the special ability, the 4th special ability there, are mines, and that makes up for the fact that this tank can't be doing any damage with its main gun to vehicles. The side guns there are heavy machine guns, and the gadget fire from those side guns is an impact grenade. So again, the emphasis on anti-infantry there, not anti-vehicle. One thing I wanted to note for this variant is that the flares there, you can have 2 up at any time, much like a scout, but they recycle really quite quickly. And the mines there, you can have 6 out on the ground at any one time. So that is the Putilov Garford Armoured Assault Truck, and I have to say I really like it. I like the amount of functionality it has. It's very interesting, but also it seems to be very capable, and I can't wait to see this truck. Hopefully it will be in all the vanilla maps once the full Russian DLC is out, and I'll be able to get to try all the situations that I usually get myself into when tanking in Battlefield 1. So, thank you for watching everyone. Please leave a thumbs up if you like this video, or a thumbs down if you must. Please leave your comments either ways. I love to hear your thoughts and ideas, and I will see you next time.